We are walking in the light. It's walking in the light, just for a show. Oh, oh.
Walking in the light with the Lord on my side. I don't fear no evil with the Lord on my side. You're the fountain of life in you. We see light in your light. We have hope in your light. My light shines. Death cannot defeat us. Depression cannot hold us.
And say how I'm not cooperating, how I'm not, and the African kind of upbringing, you don't want things to get to your parents because of your lazy style, fear.
Yeah.
So that fear kept my mouth shut, for all those years. But inwardly, I think over the years it did.
How long did the abuse take?
I don't remember. I was young. I don't remember. Until I think I was just uncomfortable going there. Now I started fighting, I started being aggressive, when I see him, you just change and all that. When they send me to help him do something, I don't go. And so I think it kind of, I stopped going to the mathematics. So when you see your child rejecting people, know there's something in the background. Don't force them to be with people they're rejecting,
In relation to just what you went through, maybe you can just look at the camera there and just tell parents, how can they relate with their children? Because mostly African parents, they don't listen to their children. And maybe their children are going through something that they would really want to talk to someone, but they can't. What can you tell them?
So parents who are watching this, be in a position that you show love to your child so that they can be closer to you, and teach them. You also have to teach. So some of us in our African culture, we are afraid to talk about certain things. Teach your child, when someone touches you in this way, this is wrong. When someone does this to you, come and talk to mommy, come and talk to dad. Give them a free space to come and talk to you about this thing. Don't raise them up so harshly that when something happens to them, when someone touches them in a way that is inappropriate, they won't come to you and talk to you about it. So please build a tight relationship to your children. Help them to be open, to be able to express their feelings to you. Ask them. You can start by just having them in a round table. Reflect how their day was. How was your day? How did you feel in school today? Who did what to you? Did you enjoy your time? Let them have that space of expressing themselves and sharing without being judged. And that will give them an opportunity when something wrong happens. When something happens to them, they will run to you and say, Mama, this happened to me at school. Papa, this happened to me at school. But the kind of upbringing we have in Africa, you never talk about sex. You never talk about, relationships. Even if you have your boyfriend, he, makes a U-turn somewhere before you reach home, you can't even introduce them to your, to your parents, stuff like that. And so we are raised up in fear.
Yeah, you have fear.
You have fear. You can't open up. You can't open up. And I remember I stuck with this until now. It started catching up with me. Now when I started desiring to, to have a partner and all this, I think it even affected intimacy between me and my husband.
Yeah.
And he knows till today he can't come and hug me from behind. I just, get like, I just get shocked like there's someone wants to, I don't plan to. I know I live with my husband, but somehow, it messes up with your whole, whole emotions and how you think about men. And so at this specific time, now this made me to actually put men in a different category, and now I'm desiring to get married, but I have a lot of luggage that I've been dragging a lot with me, and I know I broke so many hearts because people who were dedicated, who just wanted to spend their life with me, I would run. I would just, the relation, you did nothing to me, nothing, just mention the word marriage, I'm gone, because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be in a tight relationship with someone so, the opposite sex.
Could that be the reason why you decided, okay, you'll take the path of going to school without getting married? Or
No, that was just from my ambition, Even at school, I still had like relationships going on, but then like to just imagine now I'm married, now you have a happy family, now the kids are, I didn't have that. I would, my friends would be talking about how sweet babies are and all that. And I wonder, how come I don't have, I don't have this kind of feelings, in regard to marriage, to kids and all that. I didn't just have it.
Okay,
identity service.
so
Yeah.
when you had relationships, were they just open relationships or were they like romantic? I mean,
They were really, that is one thing I was really serious with the people too. I was so serious and so dedicated, and I'm this one person when I'm in a relationship, it's not for a joke. But then I didn't know how to define, is this, where is this leading to? You know, I was just comfortable, like I'm serious and I'm loyal, yeah. And let's just be like, let us remain like that. You don't need to get married, you know. Okay. You don't need. So that was the marriage concept where I think the marriage concept where I think now this is one person for the rest of my life. That was, I think, what was scaring me, but not as serious. I was serious and I was loyal also in my relationships, past relationships.
And you know, like as a believer, one has to walk like in purity, like. What's your take on sexual purity, and how did you balance that you did not get involved like into sexual relationships?
What really helped me is putting boundaries. You know, you have to put boundaries in your relationships. There are so many ways you can get intimate, you know, there's so many ways. I know there are extreme people who don't hold hands, who don't kiss, but I kissed my husband before we got married. We held hands, we were hugging and all that. So there are different ways you can get, you know, intimate with someone without really having sex. And so you put your boundaries. You have to have the same values to the person you're dating also has to have the same values as you. So the thing is, like, you have to have the basic foundation has to be God, and when you both are having the same foundation, God, then you would understand the purpose that God, you know, the purpose of a relationship. You know, it's not about, you know, sex every time, but it's about, you know, serving God. Also, how can we combine our efforts to do something that will, you know, serve God in future? And even you'll have a beautiful family. Yes, you'll be, but what are you doing for God in that family? How do you use your marriage, your relationship to serve God? You know, so that one for me was a very big one in the picture. So that when I was meeting my husband, you know, another story altogether, was telling God, one thing I need to see is how he's serving you, you know, how he's serving you. And I prayed, one sign I prayed for is that he comes to my church as a member, so that I see him serve God there.
Wow,
you know,
that's nice. And God truly answered.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've now you now from peer, you've gone to, you've overcome the shock, you're now a student, you're done, you have a job. What was the next thing? Or was it easy getting a job, let's say that?
There, I think, when my life changed, when I started working with God, I think he directed everything. And so after my studies, I got a job before I submitted my master thesis. And that's how God was gracious to me. And I remember I told you before that I was working on a Saturday, you know, going to church. I remember in my bachelor studies, you know, I would go to the library in the morning and come out at midnight sometimes, you know, because I'm trying to read. So I would use all my efforts, you know. But then when I came to know about God for myself, now that was a turning point. Now I've been raised up in a Christian setting, in a Christian family, and you get to know God for yourself, not the God of your parents, but your God now for yourself. And that was so amazing for me. So I started sharing my testimony with others. I started working for God, and now I had less time to study. But then my grades were better.
Wow.
Than before, when I used to use all my strength. And then I was like, wow, you know, I would sit down, we have like an assignment to do and to submit. I would sit down and do that in a few days, and I submit and I get my good grades. All the time I'm running in church, doing different things, you know, I'm always everywhere. I'm a talkative person, so I'll be here talking to this and taking this. Oh, you need your help here, I'm here, you know. I help everywhere, you know. And so I had limited time, but how God rewarded that. Before I submitted my master thesis, there was a job for me.
Wow.
There was a job for me, and a job that I always wanted to work with foreigners, you know. And so I got a job in this project where we were supporting foreigners. I was organizing workshops for them, you know. And I did this job, they understood that I'm still writing my thesis. So they gave me the time also to write my thesis and to work there. But then my faith was tested in the same present job that God has given me even before my bachelor studies. So I submitted my master thesis, before I submitted my master thesis, and then I'm now like, wow, now you can work, everything now, life starts. And then they make changes in these organizations. Now they want to start organizing the workshops that we organize also on Saturday. And remember, I go to church on Saturday. Now I'm running up, I'm down and serving God.
We walking in the light.